In martial arts movies, we often see a special skill called Dian Xue, pressure point technique. If we had to define it, it's a mythical kung fu technique that involves striking specific points on the body to produce various effects. In TV shows, the protagonist can use the hands, weapons, or even something as small as a pebble to Dian Xue someone, and the outcomes are super diverse. Some people can't move after being struck, others hit on a laugh point, can't stop laughing, and there's even a mute point that makes people unable to speak. The most extreme is the death point, or touch of death. Supposedly hitting these specific spots on the body can be life-threatening. If we dive a bit deeper, if Dian Xue was really as magical as shown in movies, it would definitely be considered an advanced skill that most people couldn't master. After all, the human body has so many pressure points, and everyone's build is different. Each point corresponds to a different effect, while the amount of force required also varies depending on the point. Being able to accurately locate and apply just the right amount of pressure sounds incredibly difficult. But of course, all of this mostly stems from Shaolin Kung Fu legends or martial arts myths. In reality, it's basically non-existent. A lot of the pressure points and effects you see in movies are completely made up, so it's best not to take them too literally or try to learn them yourself. Setting aside the over-the-top movie drama, many of the so-called pressure point stories passed down in real life often don't hold up under scrutiny either. A lot of Dian Xue videos online are essentially just stage performances, and plenty of self-proclaimed Dian Xue masters have been exposed as frauds. If you really had to find a somewhat authoritative book on Dian Xue, it would probably be Shaolin Dian Xue Method. This book was officially compiled by the Shaolin Temple, with the abbot at the time involved in its review, and was later published by Beijing Sport University. Even so, while it may carry some level of authority, its real value as a reference remains quite limited. It's true that the human body has many vulnerable points, and there are cases where striking specific areas can cause harm. However, this doesn't necessarily prove that Dian Xue, as portrayed in films, is real. For instance, hitting the temple area can cause serious consequences, but that's because the blood vessels there are close to the surface and easy to hurt, not due to some secret pressure point skill. I feel like most martial artists don't really believe in this kind of ability either. Instead, discussions around Dian Xue are now more focused on its applications in traditional Chinese medicine, rather than its use as a mystical combat technique. The possible scientific basis behind Dian Xue might be that these specific points on the body, known as acupuncture points, are areas where there are a bunch of nerve endings. Stimulating them could have some impact on the body's functions. The most common modern application of this concept is acupuncture. In traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture involves applying pressure with fingers or inserting thin, specialized metal needles into these points. When the skin gets stimulated, it sends signals to the brain, which might trigger the release of hormones. These chemical reactions can lead to various effects, like pain relief, reducing inflammation, or regulating cellular activity. It's important to note that the scientific explanations I just mentioned haven't been fully validated by modern medicine. While acupuncture is used worldwide as a treatment method, its effectiveness and mechanisms are still subjects of debate. Many theories in traditional Chinese medicine haven't undergone rigorous scientific testing or showing consistent clinical results. Acupuncture in particular requires skilled techniques and precise point location. So if you really want to experience its therapeutic effects, you should see a licensed practitioner. To sum it up, the Dian Xue skills portrayed in martial arts films are mostly fictional and very different from reality. Acupuncture is based on the principles of Dian Xue in TCM. It may also work effectively in certain areas. That's basically the gist of it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and support my channel.